Purport. Everyone who has accepted a material body must maintain the necessities of the body by acting or earning some livelihood. A devotee should only work for such income as is absolutely necessary. He should be satisfied always with such income and should not endeavor to earn more and more simply to accumulate the unnecessary. A person in the conditioned state who has no money is always found working very hard to earn some with the object of lording it over material nature. Kapila Dev instructs that we should not endeavor hard for things which may come automatically, without extraneous labor. The exact word used in this connection, yadrichaya, means that every living entity has a predestined happiness and distress in his present body. This is called the law of karma. It is not possible that simply by endeavors to accumulate more money, a person will be able to do so. Otherwise, almost everyone would be on the same level of wealth. In reality, everyone is earning and acquiring according to his predestined karma. According to the Bhagavatam conclusion, we are sometimes faced with dangerous or miserable conditions without endeavoring for them. And similarly, we may have prosperous conditions without endeavoring for them. We are advised to let these things come as predestined. We should engage our valuable time in prosecuting Krishna consciousness. In other words, one should be satisfied by his natural condition. If by predestination one is put into a certain condition of life which is not very prosperous in comparison to another's position, one should not be disturbed. He should simply try to utilize his valuable time to advance in Krishna consciousness. Advancement in Krishna consciousness does not depend on any materially prosperous or distressed condition. It is free from the conditions imposed by material life. A very poor man can execute Krishna consciousness as effectively as a very rich man. One should therefore be satisfied with his position as offered by the Lord. Another word here is mitabuk. This means one should eat only as much as necessary to maintain the body and soul together. One should not be gluttonous to satisfy the tongue. Grains, fruits, milk, and similar foods are allotted for human consumption. One should not be excessively eager to satisfy the tongue and eat that which is not meant for humanity. Particularly, a devotee should eat only prasad, or food which is offered to the personality of Godhead. His position is to accept the remnants of those foodstuffs. Innocent foods like grains, vegetables, fruits, flowers, and milk preparations are offered to the Lord. And therefore, there is no scope for offering foods which are in the mode of passion and ignorance. A devotee should not be greedy. It is also recommended that the devotee should be muni, or thoughtful. He should always think of Krishna and how to render better service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That should be his only anxiety. As a materialist is always thoughtful about improving his material condition, a devotee's thoughts should always be engaged in improving his condition in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he should be muni. The next item recommended is that a devotee should live in a secluded place. Generally, a common man is interested in pounds, shillings, and pence, or materialistic advancement in life, which is unnecessary for a devotee. A devotee should select a place of residence where everyone is interested in devotional service. Generally, therefore, a devotee goes to the sacred place of pilgrimage where devotees live. It is recommended that he live in a place where there is no large number of ordinary men. It is very important to live in a secluded place, vivikta sharana. The next item is santa, or peacefulness. The devotee should not be agitated. He should be satisfied with his natural income, eat only as much as he needs to keep his health, live in a secluded place, and always remain peaceful. Peace of mind is necessary for prosecuting Krishna consciousness. The next item is maitra, friendliness. A devotee should be friendly to everyone, but his intimate friendship should be with devotees only. With others, he should be official. He may say, "Yes, sir, what you say is all right." But he is not intimate with them. A devotee should, however, have compassion for persons who are innocent who are neither atheistic nor very much advanced in spiritual realization. A devotee should be compassionate towards them and instruct them as far as possible in making advancement in Krishna consciousness. A devotee should always remain atmavan, or situated in a spiritual position. He should not forget that his main concern is to make advancement in spiritual consciousness, or Krishna consciousness, and he should not ignorantly identify with the body or the mind. Atma means the body or the mind. But here the word atmavan especially means one should be self-possessed. He should always remain in pure consciousness that he is spirit soul and not the material body or the mind. That will make him progress confidently in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Very instructive verse. The first point Srila Prabhupada is making is very bewildering to all the conditioned souls in this material world, thinking they can acquire happiness from their own endeavors, not realizing that actually everything is predestined. When you're born, how much money you get, how much material happiness, what kind of husband you'll get, what kind of wife you'll get, what miseries you'll have, they're all already determined. Therefore it says, santushta, satisfied. Devotee should be satisfied, and he has to understand this, because this Maya is always in our brain, saying, no, by my own endeavors, I can change my destiny. I can make $1 million, or I can make $1 billion. Nowadays, $1 billion is common. There's so many billionaires. But that's not the point. That's not the case. There's a wonderful verse, Narada Muni, instructing Srila Vyasadeva. Let's see if I can find it. It goes right along with this purport. Tasyaiva heta prayateta kovido. Nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyada. Talabhyate dukavad anyata sukham. Kalena sabatra gabira ranghasa. Translation. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not obtained even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be attained automatically in course of time. Just as in course of time we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. Srila Prabhupada often quoted this verse. So just like you get miseries, anybody likes when the miseries come? You get sick, or you have a heartache, or some material thing just not going right, or very distressed, or very depressed. Anybody like these things? They endeavor for them? No, nobody endeavors for unhappiness, do they? Similarly, it says we should not endeavor for happiness. They will come automatically. The same way your miseries come, your material happiness comes. One time on a morning walk, they were discussing, Srila Prabhupada was discussing this point, and he was talking about this predestiny. And here in this report also, he gives quite a bit of a lengthy discussion about this destiny. So the disciples were asking him questions, and then they were asking questions from some journal, and Prabhupada was answering them. But then they said, okay, let's go on. Prabhupada said, no. First make this clear. Understand this very, very clearly, that your destiny is fixed. Even you go talk to a karmi, they won't believe it. So it's a great freedom to actually understand, not only understand, but you have to realize this. Once you realize it, you're free. You're free from so much anxiety. And you're free from envy also, because you won't envy somebody else. They have something more than I got. Oh, that's their karma. It's coming because they did something in the past. Or I'm envious of Jeff Bezos, the billionaire. What he just made $100 billion. He's the richest man in the world now. I'm very envious of him. No, why should you be envious? He did something in the past. Who knows what he did? Maybe he fell. Maybe he's Kuvera's son last life. He came. But what happens at the time of death? He can take it with him? What's he take with him? Whatever you can get, not by wandering from the topmost planet to the lowest. Only your Krishna consciousness. That's all you can take. They'll be dragged. Hopefully they won't go to Yamaraj, but there's a chance they'll go to Yamaraj, leave their billions of dollars or their family, everything, and very precarious situation. Time of death, they realize, oh my God, what did I do? Again, I wasted another life. I'm not the body. I'm spirit soul. Too late then. Time of death comes, it's too late. So we have the fortune to hear from Srila Prabhupada and to understand this now, where we can take action and purify our hearts and get real happiness, isn't it? It says here, for his income, a devotee should be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. So brahmacharis don't have this anxiety. They don't have to worry about money. Everything's taken care of by Krishna. That's the beauty of brahmachari life. Householders have a little challenge because you have to, if you're living outside, you have to get a griha, you have a wife, you have children, how am I make an income? Here's this says, be satisfied with what he earns without great difficulty. Don't over endeavor. Keep it simple. You don't need a new car. Live simply. Bare necessities of life. Just remember, it's predestined. If you're going to be poor, you're going to be poor no matter what. If you're supposed to be rich, you'll be rich no matter what. Focus on your Krishna consciousness. Narada Muni says in the 7th canto, a householder should make his life as simple as possible. Again, Maya is there every step, trying to trick us, trying to say, no, this isn't right. If I work 2 jobs, I'll get ahead. I work, But no, you'll go down. You'll be entangled in Maya. You'll be in the whirlpool of Maya, and you'll lose your Krishna consciousness. You won't have time to come to the temple, to go to the program, to chant. Even 16 rounds may become a challenge. So everyone has to structure their life. So it's extremely simple. Following this instruction by, who's speaking here? Kapila Dev, yes. Lord Kapila is speaking here. And following Narada Muni's instruction and all the Acharya's instructions. Pray that we can realize this one point about predestiny. Like Prabhupada says here, if, what do you say? I can't find it right now, but he said, if it was true, everyone would be on the same level of wealth, wouldn't they? If everyone could endeavor and get the same money, everyone, but no matter how much one endeavors, there's still poor people, there's still rich people. So, let's see. So next point is mita bhuk. This means one should eat only as much as necessary to maintain the body and soul together. One should not be gluttonous to satisfy the tongue. So, this is a very important point. We're eating Krishna Prasad. Yes, Prabhupada said we should take a vow. We'll only take Krishna Prasad. And that purifies. Every bite we're taking, we're advancing in Krishna consciousness. This is a wonderful process of devotional service. Chant, take Prasad, be happy. Prabhupada says, look very brilliant, and next life go back home, back to Godhead. Kevala Anandakanda, simply blissful process. But here, let's see, one verse here in the Nectar of Instruction about eating is Atyahara prayashascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangas chaloyam cha sadbir bhaktir panishyati. One's devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. First one is overeating, atyahara, overeating or too much collecting. So that's, your devotional service can be spoiled by that. And this is here, mita bhuk. Eat only as much as necessary, because we're not the bodies. The more we become self-realized, the more easy it becomes to control the tongue. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the tongue is the most voracious of all the senses, most voracious and difficult to control. So in one sense, you're just by, if you take a vow of only eat Krishna Prasad, you're already controlling the tongue. But then you have to refine that. I'll only eat Krishna Prasad, and I'll only try to eat as much as my body requires. You know, if you have a car, we know this body is a vehicle. Yantra Rudrani Maya. This is a vehicle. We're not the body, as it's been stated in the last few verses. We're spirit soul. So when you're driving your car, you know you're not your car, right? The car is a vehicle. If you pull into the petrol station and you fill it up, you don't overfill it. You just fill the tank and you go. So, but us, we want to keep putting fuel in our body. Stuff it. It doesn't need it. Your body can go with much less, usually, than what we take. But the tongue, isn't it? Straight line. Tongue, belly, genitals, Prabhupada said. They fall in a straight line. You eat too much in your stomach, and then the genitals become disturbed. So this is a secret to control the senses. So try to eat, just to keep the body fit. Of course, we don't want to get weak, but we have to practice. Prabhupada said, everything is possible if you practice. Look what Raghunath Das Goswami did, isn't it? He refined his eating less and less and less and less and less. Finally, who knows, what was he eating at the anybody know? When he was at Sri Radhakund performing his seva, every alternate day a few drops of buttermilk or something. He refined it. He brought it to nil. He brought his eating to nil. Of course, we can't imitate that, but he was, he was completely self-realized, Paramahamsa, and but he was demonstrating that we should reduce. That was his contribution, and Mahaprabhu was very pleased with that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he teaches Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. He's come to teach knowledge and detachment from this material senses. So the more we demonstrate renunciation, Mahaprabhu is pleased. And this is the point here. There's a nice story when Haridas Thakur, he got approached by a beautiful prostitute, one of the envious people there. I think Ramachandra Khan might have been the one. He sent prostitute to try and defame him, isn't it? And so, of course, Haridas Thakur, Lord Brahma, a completely self-realized soul, chanting, 300,000 names a day, 3 lakhs. That's like what we chant 60. We chant 16. 1 lakh is 64 rounds, right? And Haridas Thakur was chanting 3 lakhs, so like 192 rounds a day before he took prasad. But the prostitute went, tried to entice him, and of course, after a few days, she, by hearing the vibration, she was purified and she surrendered, fell at his lotus feet. And he instructed her. Here's what I'll read a little bit from Chaitanya Chaitamrita. After instructing the prostitute, about the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Haridas Thakur stood up and left, continuously chanting Hare Hare. Thereafter, the prostitute distributed to the brahmanas whatever household possessions she had, following the order of her spiritual master. The prostitute shaved her head clean, in accordance with the Vaishnava principles, and stayed in that room wearing only one cloth. Following the footsteps of her spiritual master, she began chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra 300,000 times a day. She chanted throughout the entire day and night. She worshipped the Tulsi plant, following the footsteps of her spiritual master. Instead of eating regularly, she chewed whatever food she received as alms. And if nothing was supplied, she would fast. Thus, by eating frugally and fasting, she conquered her senses. And as soon as her senses were controlled, symptoms of love of God appeared in her person. Thus, the prostitute became a celebrated devotee. She became very advanced in spiritual life, and many stalwart Vaishnavas would come to see her. So, that's the point I wanted to make. Instead of eating regularly, she would eat very frugally, or sometimes she fasted. And that helped her completely control her senses. And then, what did it say? As soon as her senses were controlled, symptoms of love of God appeared in her person. She was always chanting Hare Krishna, day and night, incessantly. So that's our philosophy, isn't it? Always chant Hare Krishna, or always be engaged in hearing, serving. 24/7, ideally, Krishna consciousness. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, bring them to nil. Okay, let's see. The next point Srila Prabhupada makes is devotee should be muni, thoughtful, should always think of Krishna, how to better serve him. A materialist, always thoughtful about improving his material condition. Devotee such should always be engaged in improving the condition of Krishna consciousness. And then the next item, we should live in a secluded place. So, the temple is a dham. Of course, the personality of Godhead are here. This has been transformed into the spiritual world. So this is a secluded place. And there's so many wonderful Vaishnavas to associate with. Prabhupada says devotees should always select a place where everyone interested in devotional service. And this is Bangalore ISKCON Dham. Next item, peacefulness. Peace of mind is necessary for prosecuting Krishna consciousness. I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the prayer, Manasa Deha Yehe Yogachumar. He's praying to the mind. It's a prayer to the mind. My dear mind, please let me engage in Krishna consciousness. Don't disturb me. He says, my dear Lord, my mind, my body, my home, my wife, my family, all my possessions I give to you. Now I am fully surrendered to you. You do what you like with me. You can kill me if you like. You can keep me if you like. I'm prepared to do whatever you like. I'm fully surrendered. And he says, now because I'm surrendered, I'm feeling relieved. It's a great relief to surrender to the Guru and Krishna. You put your life in their hands and pray like this. We should pray like this, following in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's footsteps. That this makes you peaceful. I have no more anxiety. I'm completely surrendered to my spiritual master, and whatever he wants to do with me, that's fine. I simply want to serve his lotus feet and advance in Krishna consciousness, Chaito Darpana Marjanam, clean my heart, become more and more self-realized day by day. Such a wonderful process. We don't have to worry how we're going to advance in Krishna consciousness. It happens automatically, step by step, Prabhupada says. If you follow the regulated principles strictly and chant 16 rounds and associate with devotees, watering Tulsi, It's guaranteed. Every day we're taking a step closer. And in this one life, so powerful process, we can become completely self-realized in this one life, if we apply ourselves. Prabhupada giving one lecture here. Let's see if I have it. He's giving a lecture talking about chanting Mahamantra. He says how to chant, how powerful it is. There was a case in Lucknow. There was a building where it was a school or something. There were some snake bite cases, and so they brought in a snake charmer to get the snake out, by the mantra. It's a snake charming mantra. It's a material mantra, the snake charming mantra. It's a material mantra. But you have to learn the science. Like if a snake charmer comes to you and gives you the mantra and you chant it, you'll get bit, isn't it? You have to know, you have to practice. So what happened, this snake charmer came, and I think it was a bunch of medical students there, and they were saying, the snake charmer? They had some doubts if he's actually a snake charmer. So he went into the class, and they said, "Oh, we don't believe your snakes are real. Their fangs are removed. They can't bite. You're not afraid." He said, "No, they're real. I learned the mantra." He said, "No." So he had a bunch of snakes. He let them out. He put them on the floor. They go running everywhere. Everyone's screaming, afraid, scrambling. And he said, "Don't be afraid. My mantra will keep them from biting you. Don't be afraid." So then they realized this snake charmer has some Shakti. So the mantra will act, Prabhupada said. Even this material mantra, it will act if you know how to do it. What to speak of this Hare Krishna mantra, isn't it? Golokara Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. This mantra is coming directly from the Spirit. It is Krishna himself, isn't it? Nama Chintamani Krishna. This is identical to Lord Krishna, this Hare Krishna mantra. It's the greatest gift. So we just have to become qualified to chant it. So we're chanting. Mahaprabhu even says, "I'm so unfortunate. I have no attraction to chanting the holy name due to my offenses." That's why we chant the 10 offenses every morning. Come clear from the offenses, and we'll start to get a taste for chanting. But it takes practice, isn't it? It's not so easy. We've taken millions of births to get to this point, millions of lives to come to devotional service. So many lives, so many species of life, not just human species. We've been human beings for many, many births. But to speak of how many millions of births we've had as animals, in the lower species. So it's not so easy, but also it is easy. It will happen if we apply ourselves. Prabhupada says, if you neglectfully chant, still it will act, but it will take some time. But if you chant very carefully, following the rules and regulations, your success in this life is guaranteed, Prabhupada said. He said, so you can make your choice. Yateshtrasi tata guru. Make your choice. If you want Krishna consciousness, if you want to perfect yourself in this life, it's possible. He said, my spiritual master, Prabhupada said, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he always ordered his disciples, finish your business in this life. Don't wait for another life. Very risky, because Maya is always there, ready to entice us. You can say, oh, I've been a devotee, no, I'm just going to give up. And it doesn't matter. I know I'll have a human body next life. But very foolish. We have Srila Prabhupada's guarantee. He says, so the same thing. Deity worship, watering the tulsi plant, following the rules and regulations, worshiping the deity. He says, don't neglect, very seriously continue, and in this one life, you're going back home, back to Godhead. It is sure. And he said, I am not flattering you, Krishna says, asamsaya. So Prabhupada, so many times in his lectures you'll hear, he guarantees. How can Prabhupada guarantee that? Anybody know? How can Srila Prabhupada guarantee that? Because Krishna is ready to honor his devotee. Krishna is looking for a chance to please his pure devotee. So Prabhupada guarantees that. Krishna will make sure that promise comes true. So that's the benediction we have. Srila Prabhupada encouraging us every step, just follow me and you'll go back to Godhead. This one life. So let's see. The next item. Friendliness. Devotee should be friendly to everyone, but his intimate friendship should be only with devotees. Isn't it? That's another cause of fall down, mixing with non-devotees. It should be very official. Prabhupada said, yes, sir, what you say is all right, but he's not intimate with them. We give them our association. We do not take their association, isn't it? So, Mahaprabhu said one should rather be locked in a cage of fire than to be associated with the non-devotees. So this is another point. Let's see. But we should be very compassionate, Prabhupada said, at the same time. All these qualities will develop, again, just by following. Let's see if I can find a verse. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvar gunastata samastase soraha harava bhaktasa kuto mahadguna manaratain asato davato bahi. All the demigods in their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality Godhead Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he was adept in the practice of mystic yoga or honest endeavor, maintain his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculation, manaratena, and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities for such a man? So all these qualities, the godly qualities, they're already there. We know we're Nityasiddha Krishna Bhakta Sabhu Kabanor. We're already Krishna conscious. But by hearing chanting, cleansing the heart, the godly qualities will come. Prabhupada, one time on an airplane, one passenger came up to Prabhupada. I think he was a priest or something. He said, may I ask you something? He said, sure, why not? So he said, how is it that your disciples are so bright-faced? So Prabhupada was very pleased by that. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra, associating with the Supreme Personality Godhead, devotees become bright-faced. The godly qualities start to become manifest. And in your pure bhakta, fully manifest, isn't it? Paramahamsa, Srila Prabhupada. From him ecstatic prema emanates. This is the pure devotee. So we're all aspiring to become to this stage, right? To revive our love for Krishna, and it's a wonderful process. And I could stop here. Any questions? I know I had the opportunity to see Srila Prabhupada maybe a dozen times or so, but this prema, was it from ecstatic prema emanates? I know he was coming back from a morning walk one time, and devotees were waiting. He got out of the car, effulgence everywhere. Srila Prabhupada's aura was like incredible. This is a prema bhakti. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, you were speaking on the, in this life we can go back to Godhead, and this is what Prabhupada said. So, but when we see, we are highly conditioned, right? See, we are not brought up either like devotees or kind of things, but so we have never followed regulative principles ever in life prior coming to Krishna consciousness. And even after coming to Krishna consciousness, maybe we may be following hodgepodge. I don't think so. I have never followed 100% ever. So if that's the case, then what is the hope? So can we really follow regulative principles is a question which I'm asking.
Yes. Like you say, we're conditioned, isn't it? And the senses are very strong. But who's stronger, Krishna or the senses? Krishna's strong. Haridas Thakur gave us an example. Prabhupada said it's like a tug of war. You know, you get the rope, one side pulls, you try and pull back, tug of war. So Maya's pulling us, and Krishna's pulling us the other way, if we're taking shelter of Krishna. And he said, you follow in Haridas Thakur's footsteps. One conversation, one devotee was asking Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, about Grihastha life. Sometimes the wife's more inclined to be a devotee and the husband's more inclined to be, has material things, or sometimes the wife's more inclined and the husband wants to be. How can you reconcile this? How do you do this? Because it's difficult. He said, no, follow Krishna consciousness, you chant your 16 rounds, and the fever will automatically be reduced. And then he says, well, what if the material fever is not being reduced? Then he should chant, instead of 16 rounds, 64 rounds. He said, that is a way. He said, 16 rounds is a minimum. He said, otherwise Haridas Thakur was chanting 192. He said, so you have to increase. He said, that is the only remedy, to increase our japa. If you're having problems, increase your japa. Prabhupada says we should make this prayer. One devotee asked him in the early days in 1968, San Francisco, they asked him, it's so difficult to control the mind, Srila Prabhupada. How do we do that? Prabhupada, see, so fallen, coming from such horrible backgrounds. Prabhupada said, no, you pray to Krishna. Krishna's a person. He's there. He'll give us strength, isn't it? He'll give us his strength. We have the faith. He said, you should make prayers, just like a child. The child, we can walk. The child can walk. We know it's there. The ability is there. He has to practice. Sooner he stumbled. First he crawls. Then he starts taking a few steps, falls. A few steps, falls. Eventually, he's walking. Prabhupada, it's like that. So we pray to Krishna. Krishna, please help me. I have no strength. I am frail. I am fallen. I'm failing. Please accept me. Please give me strength. He says, all these appeals shall be made. And Krishna is all-powerful. He can do anything. So the point is to never give up. Maya's always going to try and test, it's too hard. I can't become Krishna. It's just too hard. I'm going to give up for now. I'll try again later. Never give up. And then it says, even if one commits the most abominable activities, if he's engaged in devotional service, he's considered saintly because he's properly situated. So take this very seriously. Devotee seems to be fallen, but if he sticks to Krishna consciousness, no matter what, he picks himself up and he keeps trying. He's considered saintly. Krishna says very emphatically in that verse, he's considered saintly. There's another story, Maharaj Prataparudra. He was, the king of Orissa when Mahaprabhu was present. And he wanted so much to see Lord Chaitanya, but he was a king, materialistic king, but inside he was a great devotee. But still he was a king, and Mahaprabhu was sannyasi. He couldn't even be seen with the king. And of course Lord Chaitanya knew, Lord Chaitanya's super soul. So he knew the king's heart. And so he kept asking Sarvabhauma, Bhattacharya, and the other devotees, please arrange a meeting with the king for me, with Mahaprabhu. Please arrange it so I can talk to him. So they kept going. The Lord Chaitanya says, I don't want to hear this anymore. If you bring this up again, I'm leaving Puri. So then they didn't bring it up anymore, and they told the king, we're sorry, you can't see Lord Chaitanya. He says, if I can't see Lord Chaitanya, then I'm going to give up my life. This was his determination. So from that determination, he got to massage Mahaprabhu at the Ratha Yatra. He came in disguise, and Lord Chaitanya was in ecstasy, and Maharaj Pratap came dressed as an ordinary person and massaged Mahaprabhu because of that determination. So we pray to Krishna. Krishna, again, understand Krishna is there, Srila Prabhupada is there, and Lord Chaitanya, Prabhupada, Patita Pavana, isn't it? It says, Lord Chaitanya, that we sing every morning, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Kora Murli. Please give me your mercy, Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada quotes this song one time. He says, he's talking, Lord Chaitanya is talking, Srila Prabhupada's talking, imitating Lord Chaitanya. Why should I give my mercy to you? Who are you? But then the song goes on, I'm the most fallen. I'm Patita Pavana. You've come to deliver the fallen souls. So please deliver me. And it says, the more fallen you are, the greater your claim to Lord Chaitanya's mercy. So I'm so fallen, I'll never become. No, that's your claim. You got more right to become delivered. So,
but he says that the Jagai and Madai were being forgiven, but the condition never happens again. But
right.
that's not the case.
Right. So Jagai Madai, yeah, they were forgiven, the Prabhu says, because they never committed sin again. But that was with Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada is more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. So Prabhupada never leave us. There's another nice story. One devotee, he used to be cooking for Srila Prabhupada, and he became very fallen. So fallen, he was even eating meat, believe it or not. But he used to be Prabhupada's, I think, connected to his entourage in some way. And anyway, I think this was in New York City. So Prabhupada was coming, right, to New York. And this devotee, he was very fallen, but he still wanted to see Srila Prabhupada. And so Prabhupada was arriving, and they're trying to keep him away. You can't see, you're too fallen. Devotees knew what his activities were, right? And so Prabhupada, he knows everything. He's just like the Paramatma. He's right in touch with Lord Chaitanya. So he knows, so he knew this devotee was there. And so he's in the back, and they're trying to direct Prabhupada this way. Prabhupada goes, boom, right to him. And he said, he greeted him, nice to see you. What are you doing so nice? Can you cook for me? So he said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. So that's Prabhupada's mercy. And never give up on us. Anything else? Keep trying, no matter what. Pray to Krishna, pray to Prabhupada, and you'll get the strength. Never give up, be like Maharaj Pratap. Very, very determined, and to the point, if I can't become Krishna consciousness, I don't even want to be in this body. That determination we have to pray for. Then Krishna will see, yes, come. Maya, leave this devotee alone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Jai Prabhu.
Can you please explain in few words how you came in touch with Krishna consciousness and some moments you shared with Prabhupada?
Yeah, I was also very materially frustrated and praying for. I come to the point that it's it. This life's not worth anymore. I was in my teens, and one night I just prayed, very God, help me. What's going on? And I think a few days later I found the Harinam party, and I got a book, and that was the beginning of my Krishna consciousness. They said take a book. It was a Krishna book, and I always I'd seen the devotees before. I don't know if I've seen them before, but the shaved head and stuff. It was so different back then. Having a shaved head, you're completely like a freak. You have a shaved head. So I was turned off by the parents, but I knew in my heart this is something there. Krishna was telling me. So I took the book, and once you read it, that was it. And then, gradually, Krishna allowed me to come, and I joined in Florida, in Miami, Florida, in 1974. And let's see, that was in I guess summer of '74. Then the next, it was like February of '75. Srila Prabhupada came to Miami, so that's the first time I got to see him. We went to the airport and greeted him, and one devotee, a friend of mine, he said, what can I give Srila Prabhupada? He wanted to give him a gift. He said, I'm going to get him, I know he likes coconuts, right? Dabs. So I'm going to get him a golden straw. So he had a golden straw made for him to sip his dab. So then he gave him that at the airport. They gave Prabhupada a fresh dab. He took the straw and took the dab. And that straw is now in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram Temple, as part of Prabhupada's paraphernalia. But just seeing the pure devotee, that's great perfection of the eyes, isn't to see the pure Vaishnava like that. And anyway, there's no comparison to Srila Prabhupada. Pradyumna, Prabhupada's servant, Pandit, Pradyumna would always translate and read the shlokas. A lot of the classes we hear, Pradyumna's reading, the translation, the word for word. So he was, after Prabhupada left, Pradyumna became with the United Nations. He works with the he might still be working there, but he traveled, his job was to travel all around the world and interview religious dignitaries, so-called big, the most prominent religious figures in the world. So he's been doing this for many, many years. So Shyamasundar Prabhu asked Pradyumna, have you ever seen anybody like Srila Prabhupada? Pradyumna said, no one even comes close. How can they come close, isn't it? Lord Chaitanya's most glorified servant. And we have the opportunity to take his shelter. So I should end here, it's late. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.